getting to the point where you're not easily triggered by the things that other people do is like no overnight thing. You know, this is a process that's going to take a number of months and possibly even years, just because however old you are, you have that much or more years of nonsense. I like to think of our minds and our capacity is like a garden. And if you have been inattentive to your inner self for whatever reason, and you might have had some real things that have happened to you and some real reasons to be in the state you're in. And that's, we have to recognize that you did not become who you are for no reason. You did not build those defenses because triggers just let you know that you have heightened defenses, like when people are trying to catch bears in a trap. So forever they'll be like in that part of the woods because this is where last time I got trapped. So triggers come because you had to defend yourself excessively growing up. So now you feel like you need to defend yourself again in this situation, because when you were younger or last time this thing happened, this particular result occurred as well. So when this thing or something similar happens again, now I'm going to be extra prepared, you know, and now I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to attack this person so that they cannot attack me. So you have years of that. And now let's go back to the garden example. And let's say it's an apple tree that you planted. You have to remove that entire apple tree, and it's going to take more resources and effort and labor than if you had a little seedling or a microgreen. You could just pick that thing out like, boop. Now, if you had 1,000 microgreens, it would still be a task, but it would still be much less of a task than taking down an adult apple tree. And that's not something that should make you feel bad about yourself. It's just understanding that that is likely the current reality if you are someone that's easily triggered. And I want you to start with the mind basis of that doesn't make you a bad person, that doesn't make you anything. It just reveals perhaps that you have a space to heal and recognize that not everybody is attacking you, and not every result is going to be the same result that you experienced as a child. And the first way to do that is actually to be able to recognize, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? All right. And sometimes it just takes someone to tell you. And, you know, that's why it's important for us to grow up not even having those things. So that's why I decided to talk and teach young girls specifically. So if you go to thelaptoplifecoach.com, you can sign up, baby, because I'm working on it. But anyway, if we can get them before that happens, because it is more effort. It's not impossible, but if you can start out by not even having a apple tree planted in your yard, not even having the toxic poisonous plants being planted in your yard, you'll have much more options of what else to plant later down in life. And though, if you are someone who did have all of these things planted in your spiritual mind garden, it is your gift. You can change the way you see it to yourself. You did not give this thing to you. You did not plant these seeds in your own mind. They were given to you. So it is now your gift to yourself to unplant those things and to remove those things one by one, because you can't go back in the past. Like, contrary to what popular society wants us to believe, this is like, as much as this might be a movie or a simulation, whatever it is, you cannot go back in time to fix something. Most likely, most of us do not have access to time machines. The universe speaks, baby. But most of us do not have access to time machines. So because of the movies have programmed us to believe like, oh, well, if we go back in time, we're going to fix it. So then you get the thought in your mind of, oh, well, if only this thing didn't happen to me, or if I could go back, I would do something different. And that's what keeps you in the circle, and you keep doing the same patterns over and over again, because you think that if you would have done it better in the past, and if there's only way you could go back in the past and change it, it would have a better result, because that's what you see in the movies. But you are not that in the movie, okay? Your movie is the result of what you do next time, because you cannot go back in the past and fix what you did in the past. But what you can do is be all that more better for the future.
And what you also can do is get off yourself a little bit, because you did not cause those things to happen to you. And up until this point, you may not have even known better. And even if you knew better, you did not know better, because to know is to do. So even if you have the awareness of, okay, well, 2 + 2 is 2, but you don't really know how it got there. So every other time you do math, you're trying to figure out how did 2 + 2 = 4, because you don't know how the concept works. So you can't be expected to apply it. So hop off on yourself a little bit. You don't need to be coming at yourself all like, well, if you would have done better, because that is also what you heard growing up. You are reciting back to yourself the same things that you heard growing up, and then you're expecting different realities to occur. But if you can be aware of that, then you can start to change it. Then you can start to grow and develop. Then you can start to realize that, wait a minute, yes, these things are happening to me, but where does my power lie? My power does not lie in getting you to see me in a certain way. My power lies in getting me not to be reactive to you, so that I don't give a F how you view me. I know who I am. So your thing is just a reflection of how you view me. Period. And as long as I can look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, I like you. You may have done some crazy stuff. You may have experienced some crazy stuff, but I still like you anyway. I still F with you anyway. And even if you don't F with yourself, if you don't F with yourself, you can never F with anybody, because you're running away from the greatest gift, from the connection to everyone else. If your connection is tainted, your view will also be tainted. You can't even, your mirror is dirty, so what you see in your reflection perhaps is not accurate. You might have an AI filter on your mirror, so when you look into the world, you see a scrambled face, like them babies when they do this and the eyes are like this. When you look at other people, that might be what you see, because your perspective is skewed, because you've been trained that everyone is out to get you, and so you keep putting that in your mind, and then you experience that in your realities. I know, right, man? Nah, but that's real though. And ultimately, you can recognize that your power comes from you evolving and doing better next time. And so when a situation happens that is possibly triggering or could trigger you, you will breathe and you will slow down and you will recognize, okay, where this happened before. What is happening? What I started doing, like I started feeling a pressure on this side of my chest when I started to get triggered, or I would like go up, I would start to think, okay, it's happening. And then alert your mind, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. It's about to get crazy up in here. It's about to get crazy up in here, all hands on deck. And so then boom, you have all hands on deck, right? And then all of your mind now starts to think, okay, what's happening here? What's causing me to feel this way? Something's happening, what's happening? And then you start to become extra hyper aware of what's going on within the external environment around you. And then that's how you can know, perhaps that's one of my triggers. And what all you can do to improve is decide in that moment to make a different choice, so that way you can get past this lesson. And one day at a time, you'll evolve. But you have as long as you have left. So you can either be upset and feel sad, or you can be upset and feel sad and still get yourself up and work. Period. Because you can heal you. You have the power to. The apple tree looks huge, then don't do the apple tree yet. Do the seedlings, do the sprouts, do something, do one thing at a time. And you don't have to do it by yourself. It takes a lot longer to saw the tree down than it does to hire somebody to and then take the roots out. But what matters is then you might got an empty hole. So then what matters is like just doing it. Be easy on yourself. Have grace with yourself. Be gentle. Don't allow being graceful with yourself give you the excuse to be lazy. But at the same time, don't overextend yourself to the point where you run out of steam. So there's a balance here, and that also comes from what's causing me to feel this way? If I'm stressed, what's causing that? And then address it. Don't run from it. Not learning how to do something is not going to make you more capable of doing it. You need to just face it, have courage, face the line that's really just a sheet, and keep moving, all right? We are more like children than we think. Okay, so observe how children learn things, and then you can evolve yourself as well.